Okay, let's just dive right in. For so many people, the ACT science section is, well, it's the final boss. It's that one part of the test that feels totally unpredictable and honestly kind of scary. But what if I told you that you've been thinking about it all wrong? That there's a way to not just survive it, but actually conquer it. First, let's just acknowledge the pressure cooker you're in. You have 35 minutes, 40 questions. That's just 53 seconds for each question. And when you're looking at these super complex charts and dense scientific paragraphs, that can feel completely impossible. It's pretty much designed to make you panic, but we're not going to do that. Because this right here, this is the single biggest secret to cracking this entire section. You have to forget everything you think you know about science exams. The ACT science section is not about what you've memorized in chemistry class. It's about how you read. And I'm telling you, this one shift in perspective changes absolutely everything. So here's our roadmap. We're going to start with that big secret. Then we'll break down the test structure. I like to call it knowing your enemy. After that, we'll decode the 3 types of passages you'll see, lay out a strategic game plan for each one, and then we'll finish up with some rapid-fire pro tips to really boost your score. Okay, let's really get into this core idea. The folks who make the ACT, they've done something pretty clever. They've disguised a reading comprehension test by putting it in a lab coat. I mean, it looks like science, it uses sciencey words, but at its heart, it is all about finding and understanding information. And that realization is so powerful because it means this is an open book test. Seriously, all the information you need to get the right answer is right there on the page. It's just hidden in the graphs and tables and text. Your job isn't to be a scientist. Your job is to be a detective on a scavenger hunt, and the questions are your clue sheets. All right, with that new mindset locked in, let's deconstruct the puzzle itself. To beat this thing, you have to understand exactly how it's built. It's not just one giant, intimidating block of science. No. It's made of very specific and, more importantly, very predictable parts. And this right here shows you the whole battlefield. You're usually going to see about 7 passages in total. And get this, 6 of those 7 fall into 2 very, very similar categories: data representation and research summaries. There's only one passage that's the odd one out, and that is fantastic news because it means once you master the strategy for the majority, you've pretty much mastered the entire test. So let's get to know these 3 characters. Understanding their unique blueprints is the absolute key to picking the right strategy and not wasting a single one of those precious seconds you have. So the test really just uses 3 distinct types of passages. First, you've got data representation, which is just pure visual reading. You're pulling info straight from charts. Then there's research summaries. Pretty similar, but you also have to understand the basics of an experiment. What they changed and what they measured. And then you have the wild card: conflicting viewpoints. It's the only one that's really about the text. Think of it like a debate between a couple of scientists. Now for the best part. We have the intel, we know the enemy's formation. It is time to lay out the master strategy, the specific, actionable plan you're going to use on test day. This is where we turn all this knowledge into actual points. I mean, this is the crucial question, isn't it? With just 53 seconds per question, how you attack the passages determines whether you finish on time or you're just staring at the clock, panicked. And the answer is, well, it depends on which passage you're looking at. For those 6 passages that are all about the visuals, data representation, and research summaries, this is the game changer. Do not read the passage first. I'm serious, go straight to the questions. Most of them will literally point you to where you need to look, like according to Figure 1. Then you just hunt for the answer in that spot. This saves an unbelievable amount of time because you only read that dense text as a last resort. But for that one special fighting scientist passage, you're going to flip the script completely. For this one, you must read the passage first. You can't really answer questions about who believes what until you actually understand their arguments. And here's a tip. As you read, just jot down a few words summarizing each viewpoint. Scientist 1 thinks X, Scientist 2 thinks Y. This makes answering the questions so much easier. So look, the main thing to remember is that you don't need any outside knowledge, but having a little bit of familiarity with a few core concepts, well, that can be a fantastic shortcut. It just helps you understand what's going on a little faster, which can save you a few precious seconds here and there. And don't worry, you do not need to retake all of high school science. We're talking about a very, very short list. Just know what the pH scale means. Low numbers are acidic, high numbers are basic. Understand density. Less dense things float on more dense things. Remember basic genetics, like dominant versus recessive genes. And maybe be familiar with the steps of cell division, mitosis, like you see here. that's about it. Okay, we've covered the big picture strategy. Now let's load you up with some rapid fire tactics. These are the quick, memorable moves you can use on every single passage to max out your speed and your accuracy. Let's run through these. 1. Always keep that scavenger hunt mindset. 2. Physically mark up your test booklet. Draw on graphs, circle numbers. 3. Since the fighting scientist one takes the most reading time, save it for last. 4. Know that questions in a passage generally get harder, so don't get bogged down on the last one. 5. Always circle the locators in a question, like table 2, so your eyes go right to the spot. And finally, trust the obvious. Don't let a crazy term like barotaxis psych you out. The answer is usually way simpler than you think. So, if you only take one single thing away from all this, let it be this. Stop studying for the ACT science section like it's your chemistry final. It's not. It's a logic puzzle. Your score isn't a reflection of how much science you know, it's a reflection of your strategy and your ability to stay calm and just execute the plan. The strategies are clear. The test structure is predictable. You now have the key and the blueprints to this whole thing. The only question left is, what are you going to do to practice unlocking it? Take these techniques, hit the practice tests, and watch what used to be the most feared section of the ACT become your absolute best score.